In the year 1945, George Orwell published Animal Farm as a deliberate warning. The story follows a group of exploited animals who overthrow their human masters to build a society rooted in total equality. But the revolution fractures almost immediately. Within months, the farm transforms into an exact mirror of the very tyranny it tried to escape. Orwell was arguing that this failure is a recurring pattern. It suggests that liberation movements are uniquely vulnerable to internal rot. Nearly a century later, the architecture of our world has completely changed. We traded industrial gears for digital networks and notification interfaces, yet the book's themes persist across our modern landscape. This raises a difficult question. What happens to a society in the years after a promise of justice or freedom is finally won? This diagram maps out the recurring life cycle of societal decay, using Animal Farm as a diagnostic tool. To understand contemporary systems, we must recognize the starting point of the cycle, the moment ideals first emerge and the promise of change is made. This transition shows the first point of failure in the cycle. Almost the moment a movement succeeds, the focus shifts towards the concentration of power. The individuals who architected the initial change must transition into the roles of system administrators. They find themselves managing a new hierarchy rather than dismantling the concept of one. Because the primary function of any new institution is self-preservation, the original ideals of the revolution are often abandoned to protect the new structure. Power does not disappear when a system is overthrown. It simply reorganizes to shield the new victors at the top. To maintain stability, the new administrators must control the population's perception of reality. In Orwell's story, the pigs achieve this by making the farm's foundational laws flexible, rewriting the rules to suit their immediate needs. This diagram illustrates the modern successor, algorithmic fragmentation. Digital systems achieve control by selectively filtering data, ensuring separate populations receive conflicting versions of the truth. When groups no longer share a baseline of reality, they remain divided and unable to challenge the system. Manipulating the flow of information is a much quieter and more efficient tool for regime stability than the use of physical force. This stability relies on the tragic figure of Boxer, the cart horse who represents relentless hard work and unquestioning loyalty to the farm. The system depends on a workforce that focuses entirely on productivity rather than the shifting rules of the hierarchy. Modern labor exploitation replicates this dynamic through economic pressures. Contemporary workers are too exhausted by survival demands to investigate the systems they serve. Hierarchies thrive when their population is preoccupied with daily survival, leaving no energy to question the reality being presented to them. The cycle reaches its terminal phase with the novel's famous maxim: all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. This phrase resolves the tension between the original promise of equality and the unequal reality. It allows the leaders to keep the slogan while enjoying exclusive privileges. At this stage, the public memory of why the revolution started has faded. Without a baseline for comparison, there is no way to measure how far the system has drifted. When slogans are used to justify inequality and memory has been erased, the system reaches full stability. This proves that an unmonitored pursuit of equality can inadvertently construct a rigid new class structure. This chart brings the full cycle into view. Ideals emerge, power consolidates, language shifts, memory fades, and the system stabilizes. This continuous loop is a reflection of human nature's default behavior when managing large, complex systems over time. Breaking this cycle is only possible when a population collectively recognizes the pattern and preserves its memory against the fragmentation of the truth. The ultimate lesson is to relentlessly question the stabilized systems of today